Welcome to SubscriberNation.com, where you'll meet the creators behind amazing online video channels, sharing their stories, inspiration, and hottest tips, and helping you learn from their success. Welcome, Subscriber Nation. Today we've got something a little different. We're in the education field, and we've got Mellie Pullman from Portland State University, who has an amazing online class. Mellie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your class?
Well, hi everybody. I'm Mellie Pullman. I was a brewer starting in the 80s, in the beginning of the craft movement, and I've taken that experience with my business school experience and come out with a program that's called the Business of Craft Brewing. So we started this about a year ago, and it's been really successful. In fact, it's got huge waiting lists, but we're trying to manage that by offering more sessions.
So maybe you could go a little more in depth into how you started this. What did that process look like?
We started this by, we saw that Sonoma State had a wine business program, and we thought, well, we're in Portland and we've got a lot of beer. We've got hundreds of people starting breweries or been in the brewery business, and cideries and distilleries. So we took the model of the wine business program and thought, let's apply it to beer. And we went out and started making field videos, and then we also started to create content. Like, what does the average person who wants to be in the beer business need to know? So I did a lot of research on that, talked to a lot of people in the industry, and put together either videos of myself talking or videos of experts in the field talking about different subjects.
So most of our beer goes into 22-ounce bottles. We make more money off of that than we do off a draft. We do sell, our split's basically 60% bottles to 40% draft.
Well, that was great. So maybe you could go next to where you get your inspiration from.
A lot of my inspiration has come from the fact that we have a lot of people around the U.S. and the world that have been homebrewers, or maybe they make fermented cider products, or maybe they even have a still in their backyard. But they come at it as sort of the alchemist, the chef type, but they actually don't know how to make money when they get into the business of trying to sell their product, which can get them into a lot of trouble. So I have gone through 2 brewery experiences as startups, and I've seen a lot of trouble. So I've taken my experience in everything I've learned in the business world, and I'm now trying to help those people make money by making these beverages.
Awesome. This sounds like a great class. So you mentioned mistakes in the brewing field. Maybe you could give us a little mistake or a tip, something you learned in kind of the class video online production.
Yeah, well, you know, when you do this for the first time, you quickly learn what not to do next time. So let me give you an example. I have 12 weeks of content that runs in series. Well, at some point, when I developed it, I structured it all around a business plan and the different pieces of the business plan. So everything flowed from one stage to the other, from developing your concept to talking about your market, and then going into actually how you're making your product and what that's going to cost. Well, when I decided later to change the order of things, that became incredibly problematic because I'd linked together the pieces, and now I had to pull out a piece and fill in that vacuum. So what I've learned from that is every piece should stand alone and not necessarily be referring to the next steps, nor should you refer to assignments or to any field videos that you want to see next, because I could be changing the field videos. I could go to Spain and find a fantastic brewer over there that I want to put into my market development piece. So I don't want to refer in my pre-recorded lectures to the field video they're going to watch specifically by name. I'll just say, like, you'll see an example of that next, without saying what that example is.
That is a great tip. Very good. Some of my first videos, I mentioned which episode we were in, and those got cut out because I switched around which episode, which one was first and which one was second. So
yeah, lots of editing.
Yes, definitely. So why don't you tell us what's next?
Well, what's coming up next for us is we've come up with 4 different classes. We do the basics of the business. We do an operational piece, like how do you actually function week to week and schedule. We do a marketing piece, and then we do an accounting and finance piece. What we've realized that a lot of people want to have a restaurant, and that's a lot of content that we can't cover in 1 week. So what we're doing now is a course on restaurants that go with breweries, or sort of pubs that make their own beverage. And then we'll also do a piece on developing new food products. Because we've learned from doing this beer experience that a lot of people want to develop a food product. Maybe they have some kimchi, or maybe they have some kombucha. that they want to go through the same experience with, like, how do we do a business plan for that? So we're adding a food piece that maybe it appeals to the beverage people, or it could be standalone, just for people that want to get into the food business.
Awesome. That sounds great. Could you tell us one piece of equipment that you can't live without?
Well, one piece of equipment I can't live without is the Mondo Pad. The Mondo Pad is a giant computer screen where I can actually record my live lectures. It's actually right behind us in the studio. It's about, let's see, 3 by 5 feet.
It's pretty big.
It's giant. And I can sit here with a guest like this, and we can watch the questions from the students coming in, or we can listen to questions, depending on how many people are in the class. When we have 90 people watching us, we have the questions typed in. So we watch the questions flow by, and then I kind of moderate with my guest which question we're going to answer first. Works out really well. We can project our PowerPoint slides. We can project pictures of breweries or distilleries, whatever we're talking about that week. And we can also interact with the students via the platform. And it's big, so I don't have to wear my glasses, which is a big plus.
Yes, it is definitely big. It is impressive when you walk into this the studio space here. So why don't we talk a little bit about money? I always like to mention monetizing and whatnot. And you know, this is Portland State University, but this is a different way of teaching. And you know, I guess essentially you go from being able to sell a class to people in Portland to being able to sell, it sounds like, around the world. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that looks like?
So there was a lot of initial startup costs because, you know, obviously with a topic like the business of craft brewing, there are no books out there, like a textbook. So we had the startup cost of creating content. But once the content's created, we just tweak it every season, add new things, add new statistics about what's going on in the industry. And it's, you know, with the startup cost, which was probably around $20,000 or $30,000, now when people take the class, they pay on average about $100 a week of content, but we've had as many as 100 people taking it, and we are all over the world now. We've got people in Africa and Spain and Ireland and Germany, places you think are well known, you know, for beer, but they still want to have small breweries where they do their own business side. So we've been able to do really well in terms of paying back all those expenses. We do spend a lot of money now on going to the big trade shows. We'd spend a few $1,000s a few times a year doing that to just get our name out for the program.
Awesome.
So that's our continued marketing.
Very good. Well, as we're wrapping it up, why don't you tell the audience here, Subscriber Nation, how they can find you?
Well, you can find us through a number of channels. A lot of our field videos are available on YouTube. If you just look up the business of craft brewing under YouTube, you'll see some of our field videos showing our stars. But we also have a website, which is pdx.edu/CEPE, CEPE/BCB, Business of Craft Brewing.
And
That's
I will
our
put
site.
that down below.
Okay.
Make that
Great.
easy.
So it's pretty easy to find us through, or you can always Google me, Mellie Pullman. There's not a lot of us out there.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's not a lot of Brighton West either, so it's good to have unique names. Well, thank you so much for talking to Subscriber Nation, and we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn. Let everyone know what you learned today in the comment section at subscribernation.com, where you'll also find more hot tips and resources. And if you aren't already a Subscriber Nation subscriber, click here. Click here to find another interview, or here to see more from today's guest.
Hi, I'm Jeff Burns from Super Knocked Up and Super Geeked Up. You can catch me next week on Subscriber Nation.